What's up? What's up? What's up? Hello, beautiful people. How's everybody doing today? Thank you all for tuning in. We got 4 people in here already. Holy schmokeroos. Well, temporarily, we're waiting for this. Hello, Ron. All clear. Thank you. Yo, what's good, Ronald? Good to see you there, buddy. So, right now, we're waiting for this $20 drafters million to fill up. I guess that's kind of the problem with going live right away is the app is still relatively new, so getting people to fill in these drafts takes a little bit of time, but we're going to get to the point where these drafts fill automatically, and it's only May. It's going to be June. You know, if you want to win one of these best ball tournaments, you got to get in soon. So we're just refreshing, seeing how many more people we need to jump in a draft. We're at 8 out of 12. We need 4 more people to get into this draft. If you have not done so yet, sign up today using code DISCODRAFTS1. Get up to $100 match with your initial deposit. Sign up on Drafters Fantasy Sports. Get in this freaking draft. You can win up to $300,000 to first place. There's $2 million in prizes being given out. Oh, we got more chats. Hopkins needs to know about this guy, man. Don't we all? Like, we all need to know about what's going on with Hopkins. We don't have enough information. We just have simply ideas and places we hope and expect him to go, but we could definitely talk about all the possibilities. All right. What will be his stats this season on a new team? Well, I mean, it varies on what team he's going to be on, right? Like, if he ends up going somewhere stupid like Carolina, then don't expect much. But right now, his top landing options are 1, Buffalo, 2, Kansas City, 3, Baltimore, which already has like a very loaded wide receiver core. So it would definitely mess things up in terms of ADP moving forward. The LA Chargers are also an option, but another very deep wide receiver room. But the depth can help because they're a very injury-ridden team. And then you got the Philadelphia Eagles, which also is a very stacked receiving core. Just catching up in the chat. What's up, boss? This thing is moving. You're thinking the same thing? Okay. You don't trust him? It's tough to trust Hopkins right now because, like, we haven't really seen him prove anything or play without the use of steroids, and he's been either suspended or injured the last couple of years. So I'm fading Hopkins, but once again, depends on the situation. Because if he ends up in Kansas City, he's a number one wide receiver. Obviously, Travis Kelce is still the number one wide receiver, but still, I can sign up if it doesn't fill, but I'll be BBQ. I mean, if we can get you in here, that would be awesome. I love drafting with you, buddy. It would be great to get you in here. Convince me I should. I'm gonna not do that. Why would I convince you to go with Hopkins? I mean, unless he drops in terms of ADP. Right now, he's going in the late 4th, early 5th here on Drafters Fantasy Sports. If you see him fall to the 6th or 7th, I would definitely go for him. I mean, I don't want anything to do with any current Arizona Cardinals, any old Arizona Cardinals. Nothing to do with any of that. Going to Cleveland to go back with his boy Watson. Oh, hot take. I mean, Cleveland's got a decent wide receiver core right now. And I mean, they just added Elijah Moore this offseason. He was unhappy in New York with the Jets. So, I mean, it would definitely make Donovan Peoples-Jones' value a little bit worse. So would probably okay. If you're gonna do that, just don't worry about it. I don't want you to waste your money, buddy. Just looking at how many people we need. We're getting there. Lamar gets injured this season. I wouldn't wish that on him. I think that he has a new offensive coordinator now, Todd Monken, from the many championship winning Georgia Bulldogs organization. He's more of a conventional offensive coordinator. You're not going to see 3 tight ends and a defensive tackle playing fullback, and you're not going to see Lamar Jackson being the leader in rushing attempts on that team either. So, I mean, I hope he stays healthy. I hope you see more of a pocket presence, and obviously, like his threat to take off with his legs is obviously his best aspect. But I want to see him show that he's capable of being a pocket passer as well. Watson is done, or is he more comfortable? I mean, he hadn't played football for 2 years. He's still a freak athlete. He's still a phenomenal player. You know, all personal issues aside, I think Watson can emerge as a top 10 quarterback this year. Right now, in terms of my ADP, I think I have him listed at 15. Once again, if you want access to my tier guides or my tier lists, my draft guides, all that good stuff, just sign up today using code DiscoDrafts1 on Drafters Fantasy Sports. Subscribe to the YouTube channel and you get it completely complimentary. It's a $30 value and you get it for free. My wife used it last year and she won a best ball tournament with my personal friends. And yeah, now my wife is better than you at football, unless you sign up. Eagles are stacked. Yeah, Eagles are very stacked, but I'm very hesitant to go ahead and dub them as the future Super Bowl champions. Like, I keep going back and forth with like how they're going to finish, and then one day I'm like, no, they're not even going to make the playoffs, and then common sense kicks in and reality kicks in, and they have a lot of good pieces there. Do you guys know if they changed the QB sneak rule or not? Because like from all the research I've done, it hasn't changed. It hasn't moved at all. You think Kyler will be the same post injury? I think I'm avoiding all Arizona Cardinals players, current and past. It's kind of like my way of saying I plead the fifth. So from now on, if there's any questions about Arizona Cardinals players, unless it's Clayton Tune, I'm pleading the fifth. Hopkins to the Bears. I don't see that being a good move for him. He wants to go somewhere where he can win a championship. Now, I'm not saying that the Bears won't compete for a championship, but he also won't be a top 2 target there. And they already have a great, like, it doesn't make sense for either Hopkins or the Bears for Hopkins to go there. I don't even think they're in his top 5 right now. I hope he does not, but how will he do in the pass game if he limits run ability? Fifth. I plead the fifth. Man, Kyler Murray is one of those guys who, like, he could either break fantasy football or break your heart. There's no in between. I think we're like one person away from filling this draft. I'm really excited to draft with 10 people in here. Holy crap. We got 10 people in the chat, 10 people watching the stream. I love it. The Bears need the Lord. Bears got a lot better this offseason. They added 2-3 really good offensive linemen, one in the draft. Then they got Nate Davis, a guard who I'm really big on from the Tennessee Titans. He's great. They added Roschon Johnson. They got great blocking when it comes to when it comes to Robert Tonyan, another addition, tight end from Green Bay Packers. They got 2 new running backs. They still have Khalil Herbert. I'm really high on Roschon Johnson. Their defense has been revitalized and refortified. They got 2 stud. Oh, our draft is starting. They got 2 stud linebackers. So that's great. All right. Draft is starting. Our good friend Knifey Spooney's in here. That's awesome. Let's see where we're drafting from right now. We're at the 106. I don't think I've drafted from the 106, and I'm very excited to draft here. This is, if you're just tuning in now and you've been living under a rock, this is Drafters Fantasy Sports. It's a best ball paid tournament available in all of North America and Ontario. So the fact that it's available in Ontario is very exciting because they're the only app that has paid best ball tournament in Ontario. We'll talk about how best ball works and all that good jazz. But if you enter one of these tournaments, either this $2 million Drafters Championship or the $3 mini. If you do the $2 million one, if you place first, you can win $300,000. 300,000 buckaroos. That's life-changing money. And I'm going to win it. This is the draft that I'm going to win it because you beautiful people are here and we're going to draft together and we're going to figure this out and we're going to get it done. And then the $3 mini, you can first place will get $30,000, but there's also $2 million in prizes. So like second place all the way down to like 7,000th place wins money. So it's pretty epic. I'm just catching up on the chat now. Knifey, you got the 102. That's pretty awesome. All right. Who is favored to win the Super Bowl? Right now, I have the Eagles at number 1 in my power rankings, the Bills at number 2 in my power rankings, the Chiefs, even though they've lost a significant amount of pieces, number 3, and then it's a wash. All right. We're doing the $20 fast draft. What's your favorite best ball team you've ever drafted so far? Oh God, all of them, because I'm the best. Yes, $20 draft. What are you making on the barbecue? I'd love to know what you're cooking up there. I don't think it's changed. Yeah, so no rule or proposal for the QB sneak. Okay. Let's catch up on the draft. So far, Justin Jefferson gone, typical. Jamar Chase gone. I think Jamar Chase is quickly becoming my wide receiver 1 this year, and then Justin Jefferson falls into a second. So we're up on the clock. We got the 106. We have an option between Travis Kelce, Bijan Robinson, Stephon Diggs, Austin Eckler, AJ Brown, and then everybody else. Don't really care about. Let's try something. Here. Yes, we took Stephon Diggs. We took Stephon Diggs with the 106. Travis Kelce is getting closer to 35. He's 33 right now. Austin Eckler, I love, but I like wide receivers early and often in these best ball formats because it's 3 wide receivers, 1 flex, and PPR format. And once again, we'll explain everything. So I really like the idea of going wide receiver early. And then after we take Stephon Diggs, Bijan Robinson goes off the board. I'm not really convinced on Bijan Robinson yet. Obviously, he's going to be a beast, but with the ADP in the first round being RB2 in every single one of these drafts, I'm going to pass every single time. I have zero exposure to Bijan Robinson. Travis Kelce, obviously, every year you're saying he's too old, but this might be the year he's too old. I might eat my words. He usually makes me eat my words. Then Austin Eckler gone, just reconstructed his contract with, or his franchise tag, I should say, has a little bit of extra incentives. He's also getting a little bit older. AJ Brown gone, CeeDee Lamb gone, Devontae Adams gone around the bend. Let's see what the Wizard does. All right, let's catch up. Tom Brady signs the season. Very interesting that you bring that up. I was reading that Jimmy Garoppolo actually has a waiver in his contract now that could actually void his contract and he can get cut because his foot is not ready yet. He had his foot surgically repaired in March. And Tom Brady, if you've also been reading the tabloids, just became a co-owner of the Vegas Raiders. So you might see owner-player there, which would be really freaking cool. A Brady, Josh McDaniels reunion would be something to see. And they scared Roger away. I do like O'Doyle. I do. All right. So we're back on the clock. Let's see. Yes. We took Josh Allen in the second round. If you guys know me and you guys been tuning in, if we got a thumbnail, we got to get the thumbnail correlation. And not only do we have the thumbnail correlation, we got a Stephon Diggs, Josh Allen stack. Patting myself on the back. We did it. We did it again. We keep on doing it. Hold up. How has that guy done 64 $20 drafts? Hey, man. Hey, man. You don't know what's going on with this pocket situation. God bless him. Tiger 101. This is our first $20 draft. We've done almost $33 minis. Our first one, our 64th one, we're better. Doesn't matter. No Bills. No Bills for what? Yeah, Bills are number 2 on my Super Bowl favorites, and they'll jump to number 1 if they land DeAndre Hopkins. I feel like that's a very good landing spot for Hopkins. Early Tyreek. Yeah, he's gonna go anywhere between the 106 to the 108. If you had to pick between Tyreek Hill and Cooper Kupp, I think I'm leaning more towards Cooper Kupp, but Cooper Kupp's coming off of an injury, and that team is shite right now. You think Tom Brady becomes a coach? No. I think sesame chicken and veggies, some chorizo. I'm not hungry. You are. Oh, drafters queuing in. Love to see you guys here. The number in brackets is how many entries they have. Yeah, that's how many drafts he's done. It's impressive. It's very impressive. So after we took Josh Allen, Nick Chubb off the board, Jalen Hurts off the board, Devontae Smith gone, Josh Jacobs on. We're on the board, so we'll catch up with that shortly. So ideally, we'd like to get a wide receiver here. Screw it. I'll take DK Metcalf. Do I love the pick? No, but he was best available, and you don't have to draft with any sort of like personal bias to anything or anything you love. It's just simply best available at this point. And then now we're starting to get an idea on how our roster construction looks. So we got 2 very good high ceiling wide receivers. We got my number 1, yes, my number 1 quarterback in terms of the 2023 Drafters Best Ball tier list, in Josh Allen. So we're off to a great start. We're loving it. But before we took DK, let's catch up. We finished. Oh, I swear, I got to figure out this UI because, like, I got broken, busted fingers and stuff. So after we said Devontae Smith, Josh Jacobs, and around the bend, Patrick Mahomes, Ramondre Stevenson, Olave, Derrick Henry, T. Higgins, Calvin Ridley, DK Metcalf, Breece Hall, Jahmyr Gibbs. The other stream, I called him Joshua Gibbs for the longest time. Jahmyr Gibbs. I don't know why I called him Joshua Gibbs. Mark Andrews. This is relatively late for Mark Andrews to fall. That's bizarre. Keenan Allen, waste of a pick. DeAndre Hopkins could potentially be a good pick, and we're all caught up. All right, let's catch up with the chat. I know Disco has 30 plus drafts in $3, but this is my first $20 one. It's kind of a big deal, and I appreciate all of you guys tuning in here. San Francisco has all the QBs they need. Yeah, they have 3 QBs right now, and none of them are worth drafting. That's one of those quarterback rooms that I will be drafting more likely once we get more news. Right now, it's just a toss-up, and it's tough because, like, you could get really, really good value right now for any of those quarterbacks, any of the 3 that we mentioned. The only team Brady can play for is Vegas. Exactly. It would be weird if he was a co-owner in Vegas, but yet played elsewhere. That would be very bizarre. All right. So after Deebo Samuel's gone, Lamar Jackson's gone. Justin Fields. I'm very high on Justin Fields. I'm very, very high on Justin Fields. Rex Ryan's coming back. I don't want him to. Interesting to see the guys go super RB heavy early. I mean, I think when I first started drafting here on Drafters this year, the RB value was too good to pass up on. But the more I've done this, I know what to expect. That's why I'm able to chat with you guys here and take a look at the board and make a very good quality pick. 3 RBs straight from the 7 slot. Yep. I mean, why not, right? But like seeing guys here like Najee Harris, who's somebody we would be eyeing in the 4th round, I have him as my RB4 right now. And I know that's very high in comparison to other people's tier lists, but we're not other people, we're better. So right now we could potentially go running back, even though I don't necessarily love the Travis Etienne value. Obviously it's PPR, so he has very high ceiling. Kenneth Walker's available, Jerry Jeudy. All right, we'll go Kenneth. Oh shit! Did it just auto pick for me? Travis Etienne. All right, we wanted him from the beginning. We didn't want Kenneth Walker. God dang it! That's probably my first share of Travis Etienne. Olave. I love Olave. I love Olave. Why is Keenan Allen a waste? When's the last fully healthy season Keenan Allen's had? And it's not that he's a waste. If he were to fall like 2 rounds in terms of ADP, like show up in the 6th or 5th round, I'd consider picking him up simply because he would probably be best available. But right now, based on ADP, it's a wasted pick. Yeah, I saw Andrews on the board and you went with DK, but I respect it. Yeah, I mean, once again, I don't have Lamar, so that has almost zero correlation. I know he was best available in terms of overall players there at that time. Maybe if I had Lamar, I'd go there, but seeing as how I now have Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs, I'd probably be leaning heavily towards going that way and having like a Bills correlation / Bill stack. 0 RB is the way to go. God bless you. You almost pulled one off with your 0 RB strat. It's literally changed my entire approach in drafting. Good to see you in here, Jerome. Love you, bro. I hope the baby isn't giving you too much trouble. Fields has good potential and needs a few more. Hey, he got all the weapons he needs, brother. They are stacked. They added 3 new O-linemen in the offseason. They got a really good offensive lineman in the first round out of Tennessee, I believe. Road grader, dude's a beast. They added Chase Claypool late last season. They still have Darnell Mooney. They still have Cole Kmet, and then they traded for DJ Moore. Like that is a great receiving core. I'd even go to say top 5 receiving core right now. We get to see his arm this year, which is really exciting because like as much of a great runner of the football he is, I think he's going to hit a whole new level right now with his passing game and his passing ability. We're on the clock, so it all worked out. Unless it all worked out. This is exactly what we wanted. We wanted both Travis Etienne and Kenneth Walker, and we got them both. Sick. It all worked out, guys. God is so good. Don't take Jeudy. No. I would never take Jeudy based on the ADP. And you'll also see me fading Cortland Sutton quite a bit. Jeudy season? Oh, God. Fantasy Guru ruined my stack. What stack were you going for? Jeudy at the end of the season was top 15 wide receiver. Yeah. I mean, like you gotta give that team credit. They had a quarterback with a torn lat. You know, and I don't know if you guys seen Russell Wilson. He looks like he lost 60 pounds. I don't know if it was possible for him to lose 60 pounds, but he looks healthy. He looks very, very trim and thin and healthy and ready to go. Jeudy and Wilson. Oh, Russell Wilson. I was like, Russell Wilson, great combo. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely better combos, better stacks out there, but I don't deny it, especially Russell Wilson with his very, very late ADP. You're looking at like 10th to 12th round, more likely 12th round for Russell Wilson. So it makes sense. LOL. I like my team. I like my team so far. $20 best ball seems to run away from ADP more. I enjoy this a lot more. I know it's absolutely. I mean, like, don't get me wrong. The $3 mini, that's where the sharks come to play. And if you're just getting started on this app, Drafters Fantasy Sports, I recommend you jump into a few of those before you dip your toes with the sharks. I feel like we're ready. We've done our due diligence to practice and get all of our reps. We got all of our shots on net. So, yeah, Russ could. I have high hopes and high expectations for Russ. I generally do. this is the last year I'll ever say it if he disappoints me, but I have very high hopes and high expectations. Eric B, I don't know who you are, but thank you so much for tuning in and jumping in here, buddy. I really do appreciate it, and thank you for participating in the chat. Your team is looking nice. Thank you, bro. We'll do a team review after we make our pick here. All right, we got great running back value here. We got very good tight end value. I feel like if we don't go tight end right now, we might regret it later. And all signs are pointing to Kyle Pitts. Yes, our pick is Kyle Pitts. All signs are pointing to Kyle Pitts being healthy and ready to go. And we got him in the 6th round. 6th round, Kyle Pitts. Marcus Mariota is no longer throwing the ball. And if Marcus Mariota is throwing the ball, you don't invest in any wide receiver or any receiver for that matter. Just go heavy on the running backs there and try to take the over in the rushing stats. Peyton's a solid. Yeah, Peyton's a tremendous coach. I think the best acquisition other than Sean Payton that the Broncos have made is Samaje Perine, simply because of the addition of Sean Payton. If you look historically at all of Sean Payton's offenses, one of the biggest producers, obviously the wide receiver one's always been big, but one of the biggest producers that he's had historically has always been the receiving back. Javonte Williams didn't just tear his ACL; he got it like a torn MCL and a torn PLC. So like the whole ligamentage around his knee is chopped. He's done. I'm not drafting him ever. I have one rule or two rules. If they're suspended, don't draft them. And if they're coming off a horrible injury, don't draft them. It's very simple. It's won me some money. I'll take Russ at the late. Yeah, Russ at the late ADP is an absolute steal. He's great right now. I traded Dak for Russell in a late guess in Dynasty. Take him late. Yeah, I mean, we're sitting pretty on quarterback. Another quarterback who I really like based on his ADP and value, and we just talked about it briefly earlier, is the Atlanta Falcons quarterback, Desmond Ridder. He's going down, if not undrafted. So I love his value. I love his upside. I love the running ability. All right. Okay. Now, to have a unique team to stand out and win all the money, we have to take some gambles and some risks. And I'm going to take a gamble and risk on Darren Waller and Kyle Pitts, a 2 tight end stack. So that's the beautiful thing about best ball is like you don't need to start one and then, have another one on the bench. Best overall performances in your entire week go into your weekly matchup. So the fact that, I got both Waller and Kyle Pitts, who can both have huge, ridiculously productive games, massive spike weeks, and be consistent. One of them can fill the flex spot. So we're sitting pretty. Let's do a team review right now. So far, we got quarterback Josh Allen, Travis Etienne, running back 1, Kenneth Walker at running back 2. So we're looking for Zach Charbonnet. I know it lowers our ceiling, but it raises our floor. I'll explain that shortly. Stephon Diggs is a wide receiver 1. DK Metcalf as our wide receiver 2. So we really do need to start drafting some more wide receivers, even though our first 2 wide receivers are elite. Kyle Pitts, Darren Waller. This is a very unique lineup, and I'm freaking loving it. We got 15 people up in here? God is so good. God is so good. All right, let's catch up on the chat. Take Russ. Okay, read that. AB. I heard he's doing a terrible job as a team owner. Late first. Take Pitts. Yeah, good call. Great minds, Ronald. Great minds. If you guys don't know, Ron is the heart and soul of Ottawa football, former pro, St. Francis Xavier alum. Great man, and a fantastic figure in the community. Can't say enough things or good things about that man. Great man. He needs to leave Atlanta. No, I have such high hopes for that Atlanta offense, man. I'm telling you, I have such high hopes for that Atlanta offense. Ridder can be worse than Mariota as a passer. I mean, okay. So last year we saw Ridder come in, play for an Arthur Smith offense, 1 second. We're on the clock, but hold that thought. Parking lot, that thought. All right, back on the clock. Zay Flowers, no brainer. Love Zay Flowers' ceiling. Love him as a wide receiver number 1 in Baltimore. Yes, I know they have Odell Beckham Jr., but we don't know what Odell Beckham Jr. is going to look like this year. I'm going to take the under for 9 games for Odell to play this season, and I hate to say it because I freaking love Odell. I love his game, and I hope he has a great season. But right now, Zay Flowers is number 1 on my list, and then Rashad Bateman coming off a Liz Frank's injury. It's a bone in your foot. If you break that, you're going to have a bunch of screws in it. Anyways, it's an ugly injury. Tough for a wide receiver to come back and do, pretty much anything that you want him to do. So yes, Zay Flowers. They paid the first round capital for him to draft him. So we like our pick with Zay Flowers. We got a wide receiver 1 in round 8. This draft is going tremendously. We're doing good. And we're coming around the bend. All right. Eric, back to your comment about Ridder can be worse than Mariota. Last year, the offense was designed and predicated around Marcus Mariota to be the quarterback. So the play design was all non-traditional, like QB run and all that good jazz, and RB run heavy. They ran more more run plays not in the backfield than any other team did last year. So very unique stat. Anyways, I say that to say this. If Arthur Smith, who historically has been a great play calling coach, you saw it with Ryan Tannehill in Tennessee and in other situations, he's going to use the run to set up the play action. You're going to get huge spike weeks from Ridder. Am I saying Ridder is going to be a top 10 quarterback? No. But am I saying, is he great for best ball where you get the spike weeks? Absolutely. Yes, good shit, bro, with the duo TE, tight ends. Thank you. I patted myself on the back, but it doesn't hurt that you pat me on the back as well. Any other questions? Any other comments? We're back on the board. And somebody sniped Charbonnet from us. Literally the pick right before us. That definitely upsets me, but we will adjust and adapt. And we're gonna go with AJ Dillon. In terms of my ADP, he's my highest ranking player. I know Alvin Kamara is there, but I'm not drafting any Kamara, and it's a shame because if they say, oh, Kamara is in fact playing this year and is not suspended, then whoever gets him in what round is it? Round 9 to round 11 is walking away with an RB1. But I feel like the Saints have done way too much this offseason to show us that Kamara should more likely than not be suspended. So I'm not going to risk it on him. I'm not going to take him. And it pains me every time that I pass on him, but I'm not going to take him. All right. More in the chat. Feast your eyes on the strategy by GTAL Bot. All right. Cooper Kupp, Nick Chubb, Calvin Ridley, Jerry Jeudy, Drake London, Hollywood, Pickens, Sutton, Charbonnet. Yeah, he's just getting a lot of value everywhere other than tight end and quarterback. He's definitely going hero RB, which is cool. I don't hate the hero RB build. I really don't. And Nick Chubb is the safest bet you can ever get at running back. So it's not a bad build. I like the strat. Would I use it personally? Maybe. I don't know. All right. We'll take Rasheen Rice here. He has a very interesting player profile. That wide receiver core is not stacked. Kadarius Toney, I feel like he's gonna mess it up somehow. Either get injured, get toe jammed, something. I don't know. They just signed Richie James, but I don't know what Richie James is capable of for an entire NFL season. Rasheen Rice, he's consistent, big body, jump ball threat. He'll definitely pose a threat in the red zone, especially with Kelsey aging. So I really do like the Rasheen Rice pick, and I like our draft so far. Dalton Kincaid, somebody we wanted, but we don't need because we went with a very unique too early tight end build. So we're good on tight end. We could use one more quarterback. I think we're going to go 6 RB and get the rest at wide receiver. And if you have not done so yet, do so now. Subscribe to the channel. And then sign up for Drafters Fantasy Sports using promo code Disco Drafts 1. Your promo code or your promotion is every dollar that you deposit up until $100 will be matched. So yeah, it's the only promo code out there that does it. There's no other promo code, and if they tell you otherwise, they're lying. If you were to deposit your initial deposit without using our promo code, they would only give you 50% match of your initial deposit. This is 100%, so obviously better. I'm good at maths, quick maths. All right, we're on the clock again. All right. Sky Moore, we hate. Darnell Mooney, I'm not a fan of this year. KJ, I mean, best available happens to be a running back or a quarterback. I will go with Khalil Herbert. I don't have enough shares of Khalil Herbert. I will pick him up. We can still afford to draft a couple of good running backs. And then we know that we have some great steals later on in the draft. So I'm okay with this. I feel like it's especially important in these types of best team wins, no fantasy tournaments, to go elite quarterback and elite tight end. I mean, yes and no, right? In terms of formula and strategy, you can't come into this kind of best ball draft on drafters simply telling yourself a story like, this is how I'm going to go, this is what I'm going to do. What you got to do is you got to draft based off of ADP in rounds 1, round 2, round 3. And now that you have an idea of kind of like the build and construction that you have, then you get to really start building a unique lineup, right? Because like there's going to be so many teams that go like elite tight end, elite quarterback early often. How does that make you stand out against over 700,000 other competitors in your lineup construction? So you want to build a unique lineup construction because you're not just competing against the 12 people you're drafting against now. You're competing against hundreds of thousands of other people who are entering these drafts, and you want to get unique. You don't want to get cute. You want to get unique, right? So best value, best available. It's all good. But thank you, Love Stars, for tuning in. If you have not done so, please like and subscribe and sign up on Drafters using code Disco Drafts 1. What you thinking about Swift plus Herbert mix? Swift plus Herbert mix? Please elaborate. Is week 13 the most buy heavy week? You and I are both having trouble there. Honestly, I have not been paying attention to bye weeks, so thank you for bringing that up. I hope I didn't do a double bye week again. All right. Quite possibly my most owned player, Kendre Miller. I will draft him every time I see him available, especially if we have room in our roster for a running back. I'm higher on Kendre Miller than I am on Jamal Williams, and I do expect a suspension to happen for Kamara. I mean, he was caught on camera, and then he sent a text exposing himself, so Kamara is going to get suspended. I agree. Love Stars late tight end though might work for this year. It worked for me last year. Last year I got Freiermuth, Taysom Hill, and Gerald Everett in pretty much every one of my drafts, and there were weeks where both of them had phenomenal performances and balled out. They went absolutely nuts, and one of them filled in my flex. And there was weeks where Taysom Hill, who was the perfect flex player and had a lot of spike weeks. So I think You can go, elite tight end. I also think there's a strategy where you can get them in the bottom rounds. There's a lot of guys I love in the bottom rounds this year, like Luke Schoonmaker goes relatively undrafted. If you don't know who he is, he was the second round draft pick by the Dallas Cowboys, got drafted out of University of Michigan. Only reason why he wasn't a first round pick is because this was one of the most elite tight end rookie groups I've ever seen in a really long time. Luke Schoonmaker, phenomenal. Then you got Jelani Woods, who also goes round 17 to round 20. I think he makes an incredible step up this year because Matt Ryan is no longer the quarterback and Anthony Richardson is a rookie quarterback, and rookie quarterbacks like to use their safety blankets. And what's a better safety blanket than a good tight end? And then after that, I'm fading Hayden Hurst. He's a great blocker and obviously a starter, but I'm fading. I'm not starting him. Mike Mayers from the Las Vegas Raiders. He fits the mold of a Rob Gronkowski type. You can get him relatively late, 15th, 16th round. So there's a lot of really phenomenal tight end value towards the end. But once again, I'm just trying to get unique here. Typically, I wouldn't go tight end early, but whenever I do these streams, it seems like it's best available. Week 7, 13, both have, geez. That's a lot of bye weeks. All right, we're back on the board. Okay. We're not getting much wide receiver value, so we're going to have to start reaching. I don't think I'm going to reach that far. Jesus Christ. All right. We'll get Jordan Love. We're good on quarterback. We're good on tight end. I think we're also pretty good at running back. We really need to start getting our wide receivers, though. Okay. I see a lot of names I like. I'm not fretting. I'm not worried. The 4 wide receivers we currently have are great. So we'll do all right. Is Bryce Young a good late round QB option? I feel like he's going to have a safe floor, but his ceiling isn't too high. Historically, even though they have like a tremendous all-star offensive coaching staff, I think that they're going to be a more run-heavy team this year than potentially, years following. But I don't know if Bryce Young is in my top 25 QBs this year. You're an idiot? No, you're not. You're a beautiful person and I love you. Swift and Penny? I think like as a pure rusher, Rashad Penny is a better runner. In terms of versatility and PPR format, I like Swift, and the fact that he's in a contract year. And if you had watched our contract year RB Tricks to the Trade video on YouTube, which you can watch right after this live stream, you'll see that I'm actually very high on Swift this year. Next year, whenever he signs the bag, probably not. But this year, I'm very high in terms of drafting DeAndre Swift. Receivers are picked over for sure. Oh yeah. But there are some diamonds in the rough, and like, I wish you guys would sign up using code Disco Draft so I can give you guys my my draft guide and my tier list, because there's a lot of really great value later on in hidden gems that's going to win me this money. Van Jefferson, RB, wide receiver number 2 in Los Angeles. Great pick. Thank you. Love is a perfect QB2 in a 2 QB build. Absolutely. He has that versatility where he's a running threat, so you're going to get that rushing correlation, which is nice. Jaden Reed goes off the board. Yeah, these drafts are a lot different than the minis. I will say, like, you are getting the best possible competition here in the $20, $2 million draft. And the fact that we're drafting now, and it's late May, is absolutely phenomenal. It's giving us, a head start on everybody else, because ADP is obviously going to change when news happens. Like, for example, if you scroll down here, you'll see guys like Ezekiel Elliott and Kareem Hunt and Leonard Fournette all still available on the board. And then there's guys like Rashid Shaheed, Hunter Renfrow, who are ahead of them in terms of ADP. Now, if Kareem Hunt signs somewhere, or if Ezekiel Elliott signs somewhere, if Leonard Fournette signs somewhere, would you want one of those three names that I just mentioned, or Rashid Shaheed? That's why you got to get into these drafts now. You got to sign up today using code DiscoDrafts1. It's worth it because you're going to give yourself the best opportunity to win these best ball tournaments. Your favorite Packer Reed? Still no, he's gone. He was just taken in the round before. But it is what it is. We pivot, we digress. We're ready, we're prepared. What do you think about Wan'Dale Robinson? His ADP is much higher in underdog. Here's my thing. If you are a wide receiver on the Dallas Cowboys, or not the Dallas Cowboys, sorry, the New York Giants, including Jalen Hyatt, I'm fading you. That is a cursed wide receiver room. They have 6-7 guys who all could play, and not all of them are going to make the cut, so they're going to have to cut some guys. I haven't seen anything from Wan'Dale that would make me want to draft him at all. I think I have 0 shares of Wan'Dale, and I don't think I'm going to get any Wan'Dale moving forward. Marvin Mims, the fact that that's Sean Payton's first draft pick in the second round for Denver. If Payton believes in him, I believe in him. I like that pick. I like it a lot. All right. Yeah, I've noticed $20 are much. Yeah, it's great. It's great practice. Like I'm going to do hopefully about 200 of these before the season starts and before I do like my real redraft leagues, and I'm probably only going to do like 1 or 2 redraft leagues this year because the time commitment is insane. And now that we're here streaming and we got advice before kickoff on Sundays, and we're doing DFS content and all that during the season, and constantly posting, who are the top waiver wire additions and all that good jazz. I think 1 redraft league is realistic, and that's the best part about drafting best ball, right? Because like the best part about drafting in general is just the draft part. I don't have to worry about this lineup unless it wins me money later on. Best ball is the most convenient and amazing way to draft. So yeah, I'm getting my best shots on that. I'm definitely going to win my redraft leagues. Like no brainer. Chase Claypool off the board. Oh, that one hurts. He is up there as one of my most drafted players. After Chase Claypool goes, CJ Stroud is gone. Curtis Samuel, another good pick. Trey Lance, gone. Yeah, if Trey Lance plays this year and he's got ADP of round 16 and probably drops even further sometimes, he might be a league winner if he plays. All right. I generally don't like any of the value available right now. I would rather reach on a Mecole Hardman than a Wan'Dale because I just don't like that wide receiver core in New York. And I don't need Mecole Hardman at this point. I'm not drafting for consistency week to week. I'm drafting for 2 to 3 spike weeks. Guys to fill in when my starters either go down with an injury or have a bye week or just have an off game. So we're going high ceiling all the way here, and that's how you should draft towards the later rounds. You're going high ceiling, high upside. Who is going to have the biggest. Mecole Hardman any given time can go for an 80-yard touchdown or 2. It's just logic. I fall asleep half the time when I fire up with $3. Oh man, do not downplay the $3 mini. Even though this one's very competitive, the $3 minis got me here. So shout out to the $3 minis and all the people who draft in $3 minis. Do not let Eric make you feel lesser because you are waiting like I am and I was for more information to invest in the $20 one. All right. Renfrow is in a contract. Yeah, but that's the reason why the contract year is less significant for the wide receiver position than it is for the running back position is because the running back position has a low time left on the shelf. Like you are not going to see running backs play past 4 to 6 years very often. So they need to sign the bag and they need to sign it now, whether it be a $10 million franchise tag like we saw with many last year. There's a lot of room for wide receivers because they don't have the 4 to 6 year gap because their position is not as violent and taxing on the body as the running back position. So I say that to say this: Hunter Renfrow, despite being a contract year, is no reason for me to draft him or for me to pick him. He's a wide receiver 3 there at best, and I think the tight end who just stepped in trumps him, Mike Mayer. So before we go, Chandler's off the board, and Chandler's a very interesting pick. I like it. We're gonna go Richie James here. Once again, high ceiling, speedster. Just signed to Kansas City. They lost a lot of significant pieces, so it looks like we're investing in some Kansas City players. Obviously, Hartman's now on the Jets, but neither here nor there. Could try to bounce back after getting it. Yeah, but they just signed Jacoby Myers. He's a wide receiver 3. They got Mike Mayer there now as well, so he's a wide receiver 4 potentially, or receiver 4 potentially. And then Josh Jacobs is also probably a target that they try to hit prior to hitting him. So maybe even 5th in terms of the pecking order when it comes to receptions. And maybe he'd be better off if he was elsewhere or got traded or got dealt. But right now, even if he's in a contract year, I don't think that really matters or is significant. You love them? Yeah, I love them too. You will see me drafting off stream there at any given time and day. If I have a break from my day and I'm not doing a workout or I'm not training a client, I'm in a mini. I'm in a best ball mini, and I freaking love it. It's so good. Thoughts on Clyde maybe getting cut? Clyde is in Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I don't know. He's in a contract year. He would be a great last overall pick if he's available last overall, and you have that room for that running back. If you look at last year, the only reason why he is getting so much fade is not because he had a terrible start to a season. He was actually tremendous to start a season. Won me a lot of DFS weeks. Won me my early matchups in a lot of my redrafts formats. Won me a lot of my early matchups in my best ball formats. It wasn't because Clyde Edwards-Helaire sucked. It was because Clyde Edwards-Helaire got injured. Now, when you're in a contract, you're more inclined to play through injuries. We saw that with Saquon Barkley last year. We saw that with Josh Jacobs last year because they got to sign the bag because they don't have, the promise of tomorrow or the promise for another year. So they're going to go out and they're going to try to secure the bag. Clyde Edwards-Helaire falls under that category. So if he's your last overall pick in a 20-round best ball draft, I would invest in him because he was better than Jerick McKinnon. Only reason why Jerick McKinnon is so highly sought after right now is because he had an unreasonably unreal finish to the season. Like if you pull up the numbers, he had 6 touchdowns in 4 games or something stupid, something ridiculous. And he's freaking pushing 32, 33. I don't think McKinnon repeats. I think Isaiah Pacheco's RB1 there, and I think Clyde Edwards-Helaire's RB2 there. And if things change, then obviously I'll eat my words, but I'm usually right. James is great. Thank you. I do like Richie James. Could have a Juju role. No, I think he's more of a burner than Juju. Juju plays the intermediary area. He takes pressure off of Travis Kelce if he's covered in a zone. So he's more of a zone buster than a deep threat. Richie James is a deep threat. All right, let's look at what we have here. All right. I don't love it, but Marvin Jones in Detroit makes sense because Jameson Williams is suspended for 6 weeks for being an idiot. Man, what's with Bama players being absolute morons? You had Calvin Ridley with the freaking gambling problem / depression, whatever. I hope he's okay mentally. Then you got Henry Ruggs, the speed demon, just signed a life sentence to the Mean Machine. And then you got Jameson Williams, who just can't get right. What's wrong with these Bama receivers? Tim Patrick, I think he's number 4 to number 5 on the depth chart. I would not get him in any one of these drafts. Lots of dishing out. Yeah, I'm just not high on him, man. I can't. I can't. Not sure he stays. Yeah, well, I mean, Jimmy G, that's an interesting situation. So I don't know. Yeah, I'm also hoping he gets traded. I don't think that's a good place for him. But speaking of Raiders receivers and former Raiders wide receivers, here's where you can find a tremendous value, an actual wide receiver number 2. Hopefully he's still available. Mac Hollins, still available. If you guys did not hear me, I said Mac Hollins. He signed to the Atlanta Falcons. He's clearly the wide receiver number 2 there. And you're getting him in the 19th round. A wide receiver 2 in the 19th round. Why the hell not? CAH goes off the board to Knifey Spoony. Surprise, surprise. Did I give you that vote of confidence to go with him? I mean, Allen Robinson's still available, and at this ADP, it would make sense for us to go with Allen Robinson simply because last year is being drafted as in the top 5 rounds. But we also have a fair share of him. Do you prefer 2 or 3 tight end? It really all depends on how early I go tight end. Like if I get 1 tight end early, then oh shit, why is this? Yeah, if I get 1 tight end early, then yeah, I'll go 2. But if I wait and stack value elsewhere, I wouldn't even. So like underdog, you have what 17 rounds. I wouldn't mind going with 4 tight ends if it's good value towards the end, and it's like my 4 tight ends with great upside and value in a 20 round format. That's why I prefer drafters, because you have, well, I mean, it's not that I prefer drafters. I do prefer drafters. It's the fact that you have so much room to get that extra piece to your roster. You got 3 extra roster positions. So if you can go 4 tight ends with, not getting a tight end in the first 12 rounds, do it. Why the hell not? I mean, Hunter Henry's still available, right? Typically, I do love the idea and concept of 3 tight ends, but we went really early on tight ends. I think 3 QB and 3 tight end is what you need in best ball just in case of injury. Yes, but if you reach in the second round for a guy like Josh Allen, you got to make up for it later on. And if you get a Kyle Pitts and a Darren Waller, I'm okay at tight end. I think I'm chilling. But yes, a third as an insurance policy would make sense. So yeah. If Allen Robinson falls to us here in the last round, we're going to go with him. If he stays, he could be good. I think this is in regards to Clyde Edwards-Helaire. If he stays, he could be good. If he's cut, someone could use him. He just can't move the pile, but he catches. I beg to differ. I think he can move the pile, the pile, and I think he can also. He's a good running back. He's a good football player. He's just been crushed by injuries. Like I don't like that Clyde Edwards-Helaire is getting all this fade, and the fact that he's falling. Like if you didn't draft him, Knifey, he would still be available. Draft is wrapping up, so now I'll ask Game 7 predictions. You know what I'll do? I will look at the Pick'em here, another very cool feature that Drafters has, and we will do a Pick'em lineup together. If you guys want to stick with me and help me build a winning lineup, we'll try to go as many X's as possible so we can turn $1 into potentially 100. All right, Terrace Marshall's gone. Allen Robinson's still available. Yeah, why the hell not? Why the hell not? Why wouldn't we? We got a great team. Thomas, 2 QB is really strong if you get 2. Exactly. If you're drafting later on, say you get like a Dak Prescott and then Jared Goff and then a Kenny Pickett, that's also fine as well. It all varies based on how you start your draft. If you go, quarterback in the first 3 rounds, typically you only need 1 more quarterback. If you go tight end in the first 6 rounds, then typically you would need 3 tight ends. But if we go 2 tight ends in the first 8 rounds, which is what we did, then you wouldn't need any more tight ends. Darren Waller is the number 1 receiver in New York. Kyle Pitts quite possibly could be the number one receiver in Atlanta. Obviously, Drake London's still there, but you know what I mean. So let's do a draft recap, draft review. We went 2 quarterbacks, 5 running backs, 11 wide receivers, 2 tight ends. I've never had a 2-5-11 build, and the fact that we have 11 wide receivers just gives us more depth and more ceilings for potential spike weeks. Simply because we don't have all the star power that we wanted because we invested in other positions. So at quarterback, we got Josh Allen and we got Jordan Love. At the running back position, we got Travis Etienne, Kenneth Walker, AJ Dillon, Khalil Herbert, Kendra Miller. I think our running back position, especially for not going RB heavy at the beginning, really worked out and worked in our favor. So I'm very happy there. Stephon Diggs to get that Josh Allen stack and correlation, pretty phenomenal. DK Metcalf, Zay Flowers, Rasheed Rice, Van Jefferson, Marvin Mims, Mecole Hardman, Richie James, Marvin Jones, Matt Collins, Allen Robinson. It's great. It's a good wide receiver core. And we have the consistent pieces there. And then we have all the players with high ceilings for spike weeks. And then to wrap up our draft, we got Kyle Pitts and Darren Waller. I think that's a good draft. Let's look at Knifey's draft since he's in here. Don't worry, Knifey, I didn't forget about you, buddy. All right, so let's judge Knifey's team together. Be very, very critical. Be very critical. I'm just saying if one injured and your other goes on bye week, you have nothing to fall back on. Yeah, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. But my point of view is this. If you don't risk it, you're not going to win these best ball tournaments. So obviously the insurance policy we don't necessarily have there. And we could potentially lose out on a week, but I'd rather lose out on a week than lose out on an entire competition. You are playing for upside in these tourneys, guys who have had Hurts, Zach Wilson. Exactly. And the good thing about drafters best ball tournament is there's no playoffs. It's literally just best overall performance. So you don't have to have that week 14 to week 17 correlation. So there's no playoffs in this. Playoffs. All right, let's look at Knifey's team. Sorry for keeping you folks. He went Anthony Richardson as QB1, Bryce Young, and Sam Howell. See, that's a perfect example of if you don't have elite quarterbacks, just stack what you can stack and get as many points as you possibly can by getting, at least starters, right? At the RB position, he has Josh Jacobs, J.K. Dobbins, Dalvin Cook. Love the Dalvin Cook pick. The fact that Dalvin Cook's fallen to the 7th round is crazy. Also love the J.K. Dobbins, Tank Bigsby, Zeke, Deuce Vaughn, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He went 7 running backs, 7 wide receivers. Jamar Chase, Chris Olave, Terry McLaurin, Zay Jones, Jonathan Mingo, Jalen Hyatt, Greg Dortch. I think Dortch's value increases exponentially with the departure of DeAndre Hopkins. But I also don't know if Clayton Tune's going to be the guy throwing the ball. I don't know who's throwing the ball. At the tight end position, Dallas Goedert, Evan Ingram. See, with a Dallas Goedert and Evan Ingram, I don't think you could have or should have went for a third tight end in Daniel Bellinger. So I think that you could fill your wide receiver slot there. I think that your you need to focus more on having a better distribution at the wide receiver position. I think if you have less than 9 wide receivers, you're shooting yourself in the foot, especially since there's so much turnover in the NFL and you never know who's going to step in. But yeah. Can you review my team from the force? Absolutely. I love that you're in here drafting with us. Never drafts RBs, and he's saying the RB position got away from me. RB got away from me a little. All right. So quarterback, Jalen Hurts, Jared Goff. I want Hendon Hooker to replace Jared Goff so bad. I don't know why, but I am just such a believer in Hendon Hooker. So, I mean, Jared Goff is a safe play, safe bet. So your quarterback room is great. And then the fact that you have Jalen Hurts is also phenomenal. And the fact that Jalen Hurts still has his QB sneak and that rule hasn't changed is also phenomenal. At your running backs position, you got Dameon Pierce, very solid, very productive. David Montgomery, solid pick. I don't think it's a there's a backup in the Detroit backfield. I think it's a 1A, 1B situation where they both have tremendous value. So I like the Montgomery pick, especially getting him 76th overall. Samaje Perine, my favorite steal, my favorite running back, my favorite sleeper. Devon Achane, don't like that pick. Zach Evans, don't like that pick. Travian Williams. I mean, Travian Williams is probably the RB3 there if Mixon is out. So if Mixon's suspended, he's still the RB3. So I can't say I love it. My dogs are going crazy, but I can't say I love it. I think you did great with 3 of them. I think instead of Achane, I would look into a Israel Abanikanda. You could get Abanikanda in a far later round. So look at it this way. The reason why I'm not big on Achane is when Dalvin Cook gets released, or inevitably now, I'm not going to talk about if and when he gets released in June. The most likely spot for him to sign is Miami. And this is not me saying it or me creating this story. This is simply just the facts. All GMs, all analysts, all pros think he's going to Miami. If Miami thought that they had their back, their guy in Achane, do you think that there would be these rumors and this high possibility of him landing in Miami? So based on ADP, I think it's a reach. He's not one of those running backs that I love. I think he's like another Zamir White, Isaiah Spiller situation. I think Mostert is a far better running back and more pro ready because he's proven it time and time again. I think Jeff Wilson is a better running back as well. So right now he's RB3, and when Dalvin Cook goes there eventually, he's going to be RB4. So I don't like that pick, but I mean, that's why we do these, right? To get unique builds and get exposure to players who we typically wouldn't. Tyreek Hill, great pick. T. Higgins, phenomenal. Christian Kirk, wonderful. Jameson Williams. I mean, after week 6, and if he comes in and he performs, you are doing great. KJ Osborne, phenomenal. You're the guy who sniped Jayden Reed for me. I love me some Jayden Reed. Just put on a 49ers helmet and the 49ers uniform and put the number 19 on Jayden Reed. Same guy. It's the same freaking guy. Hunter Renfrow, I mean, based on where you got him, good value. Tyquan Thornton should be okay. I would look into Demario Douglas if I was you. If you like wide receivers late, Demario Douglas is nice. And Russell Gage is a guy who I have zero exposure to, but every time I want to draft him because he's the wide receiver 3 and potentially wide receiver 2 if something happens to Godwin, Mike Evans. To wrap it up, you got TJ Hawkinson, tight end. I like him. I like him a lot. I just don't like his ADP right now. Sam Laporta, love the pick. Trey McBride, also love the pick. I don't think Zach Ertz is going to be ready. All right. We got. No, Cook is an RB4. Achane is RB4. Cook is RB1 wherever he goes. Cook is RB1. I'm definitely betting Cook goes elsewhere, though. Yeah, but like. If Cook resigns in Minnesota, Achane's 80, but like he's not going to resign. He's not going to resign. I think you had a good draft, and like at the end of the day, it's with fantasy drafts, it's all about like what could possibly happen. Nobody knows for certain, so getting as many drafts in as possible and getting exposure to players you typically wouldn't is pretty awesome. Nevertheless, that's going to conclude our stream. We got up to what, 15, 16 people on our live today. That is incredible. Such a freaking blessing. I love you guys. Thank you so much. But before I let you guys go, I just want to put this up. I got all the comments here. All right, brand. All right. So this, all right, this, we're doing a big giveaway. Very awesome partnership with Drafters. I'm very excited about this. Takes 2 steps to enter this contest, to enter this giveaway, where you can potentially win up to $300,000. It's only 2 steps. 1, subscribe to Big Drafters Energy on YouTube. 2, sign up to Drafters Fantasy Sports by using code DiscoDrafts1. Make a minimum initial deposit of $25 or more, and bada bing, bada boom. You do those 2 steps, you're automatically entered into the competition, into the challenge. It's awesome. All right, let's look at our comments. I feel like we got another one. Thanks for the review. Great shit. Hey man, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for becoming one of our very awesome disciples. I love having new people here. I hope to get to know you. I hope to get into a lot more drafts with you this summer. I'm going to be drafting every night, Monday to Friday. I'm going to be putting out way more content. So thank you, Eric, for joining us. Thank you, everybody else who tuned in and joined us. I said it before, and I'll say it again. It takes a village to raise a child, and I love my fucking village. Thank you guys. Thank you, drafters. Thank you to my wife who supports me. Thank you to all my friends. I love you guys. See you tomorrow. Hopefully we'll have some DeAndre Hopkins news then.